All right, back to this WD45. Been a couple weeks, mostly because I've been really just kind of angry at this stupid thing. So here's my old carburetor. I was mid rebuild. You can see I got some of the shafts in and stuff, and you know, it was going pretty well. Had a little trouble getting the throttle shaft or this main jet out right here, and evidently in the process, and this has literally been sitting on the bench since this happened because I was so angry at it. If you can see down in there, I definitely split the casting right there, the main jet. So basically this is absolute complete total junk. So not a whole lot I can do with that. I don't know how I did it. I was just screwing the jet in with a screwdriver, and I was holding it upside down, and I hear a and I turn it over and there was a crack, and I don't even think the jet's really seated in there at all. So I was left with a choice. I could put some JB weld on the crack, which if I'm going to sell this thing, I don't think I would feel proper about that. I could buy a used carburetor for like 250 bucks and then be disappointed when it was all gummed up and I still had to spend another $80 on a rebuild kit because, you know, I've already used that one, or maybe I would be able to fix that one, and wait that much longer to get this thing back in service. I could buy a new one, so basically a new reproduction one for 360, 375 bucks, depending on the source, up to 425, depending on where you're getting it from. I would figure by now people selling stuff on eBay and Steiners and everything, you figure their prices would be the same, but there's a wide variation of prices out there. Or, you know, I could buy a rebuilt one. So I looked at All State Ag Parts, and you know, it was they wanted a core, which my core is worthless, so I would have ended up paying a lot of money for a rebuilt carburetor. So what I ended up doing is I ended up buying a rebuilt carburetor off of eBay. So I've already taken it out of the box here. Here it is. I'm probably going to drop it on the ground or something. So here's my rebuilt carburetor from a guy in Pennsylvania. I do have to replace, see, he's got some thread sealing on it, so I have to do something with that to run a fuel line, but I'll get that figured out. But all rebuilt, looks really nice, feels really nice. I am very, very nervous holding it over the ground here based on how much I spent on this thing. Basically 355 bucks with shipping. You know, all the throttle, all the shafts and everything turn real nice. You know, no problems there. So he said he's got it set it up for a WD45. This is a Marble Shebler TSX 853. That is normally for the I think the D17 Allis. The one I did have was a Marble Shebler TSX 464. So I'm not really sure what the differences are between all the different carburetors. I am sure that the numbers mean something, but you know, whatever, he said this would work, so we're gonna run with it so I can get this stupid thing down the road, because frankly it just needs to go. It needs to be a running machine. I need to do a little bit of work to it, and then it needs to go down the road, hopefully for break even. I'm not going to lose money on this thing. If I can't get a break even price, I'll just part it out. It's easy for me to do, but I think what I'm going to do is get the new carburetor on. Got to figure out the fuel line and everything, so that might take me a little bit, and we will go from there. So let me get set up to do that. All right, I think I got everything rounded up and tested. Went and got my flare tool. I found a piece of copper line. This actually came off my Model 20 air compressor from my John Deere 110s. Tried to find some steel lines, but I can't bend those, so we're just going to run with soft copper. And then found some fittings. These are the fittings that came off of the Model 20. So that's it on the floor. So we should have some fittings. floor before I lose it. I got a couple extras just in case. So now I can pull the old gas line off, and then we can put the carburetor on, and I can route the gas line, and we should be in business, I think. So I'll put you up on the tripod and we'll do that. All right, first order of business is to get our old crappy rotten fuel line off of here. Gas drain out. I mean, the whole time while not, it's just gonna break. Yep. There we go. So now that can come off. Through here. Maybe. Maybe not. Didn't think that this would be that complicated. Okay, got that task done. Now let's see if I can hook up my fancy new carburetor. I'm actually going to, instead of using the new bolts or the new nuts, I'm going to use the old nuts, just because I like the appearance of the old black ones. I don't think I have the right wrench out here. Okay, so first I need to hook up the choke. And hook up. All right, there's that. So now I gotta go find the proper wrench, get this tightened down. And I gotta go find a couple of, really need to go find a couple of hose clamps to get this cleaned out. Probably go ahead and clean out the oil bath air filter while I'm at it. I really want to give it a test run first. So we're just gonna let it draw straight air for a few minutes before I get this all situated. So let me go get the right wrench to tighten this down and we'll go from there. All right, I figured I already got this tight, get that off camera. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get this oil bath air filter off. Trying to figure out how this stupid thing works. This is when I spill a lot of things. Oh, there we go. It's wobbling back and forth. All right, starting to at least moving. There we go. See what this looks like. Hey, it actually doesn't look that bad. Oil wise, no, doesn't appear to be too bad. The internal part of the canister doesn't look all that great. Considering there's crap falling out of it. I'll find somewhere to put the oil bath part. See if I can, I don't know if I can pull this out. I don't think so. And I really suppose I should go up to the house and get my fancy manual that I got. Who's got time for that? How on earth do you get in there? It honestly doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look nearly as bad as I thought it was going to look. To be perfectly honest, I was fully prepared for an absolute disaster. Because I've pulled some of these oil bath air cleaners off and it's just been an absolute mess. But the problem is I don't really see it doesn't feel like there's a way to get in there. It's just there. So I think we're left with whatever's in there. It doesn't look too terrible. I would grab the camera and show you, but my hands are all oily now. So I'm not too concerned with what's, I'm gonna pop this ring out of this filter. Set it right there. And pull this up. I'll go ahead and go dump this oil and put fresh oil in there, and that way we can say it's got a nice fresh start. So I'm gonna go do that. No reason for y'all to watch me do that kind of stuff. All right, I got this all cleaned out. There wasn't too much trash in the bottom of this thing, so that's a good sign. So now we can take and put it back in there. And it says oil level must be flush with center peak. So flush with this peak right here. So I'm just going to take 30-weight motor oil, cheap stuff, and pour it in here and see how much it takes. Hopefully it doesn't take more than a quart. Probably does, but just like that right there. Takes almost a quart. So now, try to put this back on here. Like that. And put the locking bail back on there without smushing your stupid finger between the bell housing and the so note to self, when this bail closes, if you have your finger up next to the bell housing, it will mash it in there. Fortunately, it wasn't that tight, but it did hurt a little bit. All right, next thing I want to do is this piece of tubing here has all kinds of crap in it, so I'm just going to really take quick and blow it out with some brake cleaner. Nothing too serious here. And then the one thing I forgot to look for was clamps. So I'm going to go find 2 clamps for this, 2 hose clamps, so I can put this on the air filter and the carburetor. Okay, now we can finish bending this into place and run our line down and tighten it down. Why is this not? I'm gonna have to move the camera, sorry. There we go. Okay. Now we can take and There we go. Is anybody going to bet me that this thing leaks? I think it's going to leak, personally. But that's just me. That looks hideous, doesn't it? I think it does. We might have to redo that once we get it running. So, now what we want to do is let's just see if we can fill this thing up with gas without leaking everywhere. So open the petcock on the sediment bowl. Well, nothing's leaking yet. That's good news. Check the drain, see if we have fuel on the bottom of our carburetor. Yep. We have fuel in our carburetor. That's good. So maybe I should clean off the tractor and see if this thing cranks. How about that? That's, I think, what I'm going to do. So I'll need a video of me taking off the tractor, or cleaning off the tractor, so let me do that.